my job is pretty much just industrial repair. Everybody breaks stuff and I fix it.
Awesome.
Okay, great. And so tell me, growing up, when you were 10 years old, 15 years old, what was your life like? Was weight an issue for you then?
Yeah, it's pretty much been an issue my entire life. I remember, shopping back at Sears in the early days in the Husky Boy section. Never quite sure what Husky meant, except I knew they fit.
Right.
But yeah, it's been an issue my entire life.
Okay, and tell me about your family. Were your family members overweight themselves? Anybody obese in your family? Can you remember? Think back.
Not so much my parents or any of my immediate family. Both of my parents worked when I was growing up. My mom worked swing shift. My dad traveled a lot, so I had, for all intents and purposes, sort of a nanny when I was growing up. She was pretty much the predominant effect on what I ate and my behavior and everything else, because she prepared the food. She gave me how much I was supposed to eat and everything, and she was obese.
Interesting. Okay. Because there's a lot to that, why I asked that. First of all, based on children's statistics, we know that if an adolescent child is overweight or obese, they run a 70% chance of being an overweight teenager and an 80% chance of being an overweight or obese adult. And these statistics are really showing through for a lot of us. So, and I want to go back to Tina had somebody from the chat room call in and say, my husband does.
Yes, that's right, does the shopping.
Does the shopping. So we appreciate that, yes. But in 95 to 97% of single and dual households in the country, women you'll find mostly women in the supermarkets. That's just the statistics that we know of. But it's nice to see. I don't care who does the shit.
Yeah, I mean, because there's a lot of men that are doing cooking as well, so...
No, those are men that are looking for dates with you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to hear about those guys anymore. But yeah, it doesn't matter. So here's your nanny, and she's feeding you whatever she wants to feed. What was her culture, her heritage?
I'm not even sure. The predominant amount of what she would make wasn't necessarily related to any certain heritage. It was just, looking back now, I realize how bad a lot of the food that she made for me was. I mean, I can even remember her salting my food for me before I even ate it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a child. I didn't.
No, that's right. You can't make those decisions for yourself. And was it a lot of food, big portions?
Yeah, it was always just eat it until
more,
it's gone.
clean your plate, have
Clean
some more.
Plate Club. Yeah, the Clean Plate Club.
And more.
Yeah.
Get more. You have to remember that too, folks. When your child's asking for more, that doesn't mean you have to give them more.
Right.
You control that. So that's
and if you give your child the right food, again, that has a balance in fruits and vegetables, which has fiber, which fills people up, which fills your child up, communicates to the brain. Remember, there are enzymes in the stomach that communicate to the taste buds in your mouth, under your tongue, that communicate to the brain. That's how this all works, by the way. Chris is a product, if I may, like many of us are products of the culture that we grew up in. But maybe activity wasn't so big for him. I'm not quite sure. But you could certainly overeat or out-eat your activity level.
Absolutely,
because
right.
we spend more time eating and so forth. Now, you said 36, right? 36 years old?
Yeah, 36.
Soon to be 37. Do you have siblings?
I do.
Okay, and what did they look like? What was their weight when they were growing up as well?
Well, my two brothers were both in the service. One was in the Navy, one was in the Marines, so they were both, always well within where they should be weight-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And both of my sisters were always, neither one of them what I would consider obese by any means.
A lot of activity as kids for you guys, or not so much?
I can't speak for them because my oldest sister is 13 years older than me, so
Right,
we wouldn't
right.
have. But when I was a kid, yeah, we always, did the stuff kids usually did, ran around outside, chased, played sports outside,
Rode your
whatever the
bikes.
case was. But,
Yeah.
compared to what I was eating anyway, now that I think about it, I could have ran a marathon every day and I still wouldn't have caught up.
Right. We're talking to Chris Disney on Fitness Fridays with Michael and Tina here on WJOB 1230 in the region. Chris, so now you become an adult, a teenager, right? Go into teen years. Your weight, what's your height, by the way?
I'm 6 feet.
Okay, were you 6 feet probably when you were 17, 18, 19?
Yeah, I hit 6 feet right around ninth grade my freshman year.
Wow, okay, like me. like me. And what was your weight back then, if you can?
I was 206 when I went to high school.
Okay, which is not just you're a big guy. You're just a big guy, 6 feet, 200 pounds. Okay, did you play sports?
I did. I played football, and then after football season was over, I did track. I did field events, obviously, because, I love running and all. So, yeah, I did track in the off season just to help stay in shape for football.
Great. Okay, so now you become a young man, an adult, and what's going on with your weight? Is it growing?
Yeah, it definitely went up. I'm sure a lot of it was just muscle I'd put on from, turning into an adult, and a lot of it from sports, but I graduated at about 265.
Okay, so you're a senior out of high school, 265, 6 feet as well. Okay. At that point, how did you feel about yourself?
I didn't feel terrible about myself. I mean, I thought I was fat, but I didn't, I'm still, in my own head, you'd see everybody else who was, fat or overweight or whatever and be like, oh, I'm not as big as him. I'm still okay. I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. And then, you just lose sight of that after a while, and then you look back and you're like, holy cow. It just sneaks up on you, and next thing you look, you are that bad.
Yeah. Okay, so now you become a young adult and a man. You're out in the workforce. Now that high school football and track are over, what are you doing for activity?
Not much.
Okay.
Not much. After high school and I started working, there was really, trying to just get acclimated to actually having a job. I didn't do anything. I just worked and ate whatever so I could work more, and that was pretty much it.
Okay, and what was happening to your weight at that time?
Well, I'd never actually...
20 to 30 years old.
Yeah.
It skyrocketed pretty much because I don't like going to the doctor, so unless there's something critically wrong with me, like my arm fell off or something along those lines, I wouldn't go. So I never really had an idea what my weight was unless I weighed.
Right.
But, through that whole course, I had tried a bunch of different things when I'm gaining weight. Well, let me try this. I tried every diet plan and club and weight loss philosophy and all that was out there, and it just, you'd lose it for a while, but as soon as you stop following it to the letter,
right,
you're right back where you started and then some.
And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and Chris, you did have to visit the doctor somewhere along the line, didn't you? Because you were actually taking some meds. 5
years ago, I started. I had gone in I forgot why I went in, but they had asked me if I had ever had high blood pressure, and I said, well, not that I'm aware of, because I really wasn't aware.
Right.
But yeah, my blood pressure at that time, I think was, man, it had to be 170 over 95 or something. It was unreal. She's like, I can't believe you didn't fall out or have any other problems since.
Right.
Like, no, I felt fine.
So you had to get on meds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put me on meds.
So that was 4 or 5 years ago.
4 years ago.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. And you were on blood pressure medicine.
Yes.
Any other medicine?
Anxiety medicine, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. So 5 years ago, you've been on these ever since. Again, married man now, we know, married to Julie, and we met you through Julie.
That's right, yeah.
Julie came in, I scared Julie first, right? She came into ProFit.
That's your voice.
She left, I remember her leaving, she said, I'm going to get my husband. I said, oh boy, I'm going to be in trouble. She's going to get a husband. She brings in Chris, and this great guy comes in and sits with you, Tina.
Yeah.
Right? Goes through the health and fitness assessment. And
that's why I have a fond place in my heart for Chris.
That's right.
Yeah, because I got to have that first initial meeting with him and that consultation, and Chris had to divulge some personal information to me that I'm sure wasn't easy to do, but he did it very graciously and very humbly, and hopefully I made him comfortable enough to tell me that information and give that to me, and he knew that we just wanted to help him. I was so. I get teared up when I think about Chris, just because I know his journey and just what he's gone through, and I'm just so proud of him. And Julie as well. Julie, his wife, has gone through her own journey. She's lost weight. She's doing well. Looks great.